Hello, and welcome to the Marietta Police Department's Don't Be a Victim series. Our parents and grandparents are our family's most prized treasures. They have raised us and protected us, but who is protecting them? Today, Chief Dan Flynn and Detective Dan Oman will show us the dangers that are infiltrating households and how to protect our families from elder abuse.
Elder abuse is a very pervasive problem wherever it exists. It often exists below the surface in that we have reluctant victims who, for a variety of reasons, are ashamed, embarrassed, afraid to tell anyone about it. And that's a problem for law enforcement because we can't investigate and improve what we don't know about. There are very distinct aspects to elder abuse. Most of us think about, when you say the term elder abuse, you think about severe, sad physical abuse. The fact of the matter is, those cases are minor in comparison to the much larger problems of financial abuse of the elderly that often happens at the hands of relatives and friends, and therefore another reason why it does not get reported. And then the third aspect is substandard facilities, even licensed and unlicensed facilities. Major problem that people are living in conditions that are dangerous to their health and very often afraid to say anything about it.
I find that our senior population, being from a different generation, they have a greater level of trust than my contemporaries. And also, I have found a general sense of loneliness to be a common factor within the community. Often their children or grandchildren are busy, have busy lives, and don't always have the time necessary to provide the level of care and attention that the senior may require. And that loneliness can also play into these situations where you have scam artists, con artists that specifically target this population, knowing their weakness being loneliness coupled with the fact that they often have wealth. They will take advantage of that situation very quickly and exploit them for their resources. A licensed personal care home goes through a rigorous process through the state. They have to apply for a license through the Healthcare Facility Regulation Division of the Department of Community Health, which is managed by the state of Georgia. They have to be subject to periodic inspections, and pass such inspections. Surveyors from the department, the HFR division, are sent out when they do a top-to-bottom, inside-out inspection of the facility to make sure everything is operating as should. They interview all the tenants there, the seniors, to make sure that they're happy with the care they're receiving. And it gives a level of credibility to the institution. An unlicensed personal care home, they advertise often that they are a facility that provides all the same services as a personal care home, but they won't mention that they don't have a license that's issued by the state. These are homes that just sort of pop up out of nowhere. The caregivers often do not have any medical training. They don't have any experience in operating a facility of that nature. However, they just start offering services. They offer beds and medical services as far as administering medicines, etc., to these unsuspecting seniors. And because they don't have a license, the state often doesn't know that they exist. So we're depending on, again, the community to be our eyes and ears and let us know when they see something suspicious so we can find these places and make sure that they don't operate. I've seen living conditions vary in these homes. I've seen them where they actually were fairly nice conditions. Everything looked good as far as the physical appearance of things. It was just that they weren't receiving the proper care that they needed. But I've also seen on the other side of it where the conditions were deplorable, where they were kept in, where several seniors were kept in small rooms that were divided with plywood, 5x8, almost prison cell size rooms, and there'll be 2 to 3 people lodged in there with some curtain dividers between their beds. No doors on the toilets, on the bathrooms, no showers on the on the basement level where the seniors resided, they'd have to go up the flight of stairs to get to a shower. Often the seniors in these homes are disabled and not able to freely have access going up and down stairs without the assistance of the caregivers, who often don't provide that assistance. In the unlicensed home cases that I've personally investigated, I've seen abuse. I've seen seniors who have had their hair pulled, where they've been pushed and shoved. I've seen them be physically cut. They have had abrasions, scabs, ulcers that were untreated. I've seen medical neglect where seniors went months without receiving their appropriate medicine.
Now keep in mind, with a child abuse case, usually the one who reports it to the police is going to be an adult. With an elder abuse case, the victim is not complaining, and there's too often not an adult looking out for that victim. You know, it's really, they suffer the same kinds of problems that child victims have, but they have different kinds of people looking out for them.
If you see something, say something. That's the message we're trying to bring to the community. Please know your neighbors, keep your eyes out for suspicious activity, notify the police when you see it, regardless of how silly you might think it is. We take it very seriously, and we'll verify every complaint.
Even if an elderly person is not a victim themselves, but they know of someone else who is a victim, they should say something, tell someone about it. I would also say, what would I say to the general public about, well, what can we do to make sure that our relatives aren't being mistreated in a facility somewhere? It's very simple. Go visit them. Go see them and talk to them and take a look at the conditions that they're living in. If there's something wrong, it doesn't look right with either them or someone else that's there, you know, then we go to the simple saying that we've come fond of using. If you see something, say something. That's all it takes.
Call your loved ones. Check on them often. If you have a loved one in a personal care home or a similar facility, go visit them. Go check on them. Talk to them. They're lonely typically. They need you to be looking out for them. Go check on them. Make sure they're okay.
They need to report it. There are you know, in the law enforcement community, that's all the different agencies, regulatory agencies, police agencies, you know, we are ready, willing, and eager to help and to do something. All you have to do is tell any of us. You know, one simple rule might be tell someone in uniform. The information will get in the right hands and we'll be able to do something about it.
Elder abuse is growing and is mutating into many ways of hurting our family members' way of life. Protect your parents and grandparents by visiting them, talking to them, and know what they are doing and who they are socializing with. Be aware of your surroundings. If something doesn't seem right, then it probably isn't, and it's up to you to report it to the proper authorities. Remember, your safety is the most important service we can provide you. Until next time, I'm David Baldwin, and don't be a victim.